Things that jump out at us are the 25 assists with 6 turnovers. Very positive stat to look at, regardless of your opponent. I think it's good. I thought the ball really moved. It didn't stick in anybody's hands. We grew from our orange and white game to this game based on film work and guys taking film work and going out and practicing and working on it. Even though our 2 freshman guards didn't score, we understand from our seats, at least, that they played well. They played really, really well, and they need to understand that they got our big guys easy baskets that we hadn't been getting around here in 3 or 4 years. By penetrating and dumping it off, by hitting guys in transition, by giving Matt Wilm and Hooper Vent and Cedric Lang angles to the basket to go get shots that we really haven't been able to get. I thought they played really, really well, both the young guys. I think that, real positive stat is Vince Hunter. And we've had two little games with people in the stands, and we recognize that we're not playing conference opponents, or certainly the teams we're going to play in our pre-conference, but that he's rebounding the ball at a high level. I thought it was encouraging that Julian scores 4 points and Cedric scores 6, and we score 105. That we've got the great ball movement leading to open shots from guys that can make shots. A lot of positive things, and then we're going to go back and watch film, and we're going to find a lot of things that we need to get better at and continue to work at. So we'll be off tomorrow and watching film with our players and practicing again at 3 o'clock and getting ready for a Pac-12 opponent. It's an exciting thing, having a Pac-12 opponent in your opener on a Friday night in El Paso, Texas, in a great basketball town. They got a new coach who has taken 2 or 3 teams to the Elite Eight, and Ernie Kemp, guy I'm very familiar with. He had great teams at the University of Oregon. It's going to be a much different Washington State team than we saw a year ago. We've got a lot of film work as coaches to do going into our Tuesday practice with our team. But it should be a great night in El Paso Friday night, and we want a great crowd in here, a great crowd to get this thing cranked up. Between them and the Aggies, our first 2 home opponents. I'm hoping we get it started off with a couple of back-to-back knockout crowds, and people jacked up about this team, because we are as a coaching staff. And I think most teams are opening up with people that can't play early on in their season. We got a Pac-12 opponent in here, and I'm hopeful that we'll have a terrific live arena that can carry us through and help us with a better home record than we had in here a year ago.
Talk about Vince's rebounding numbers. How about his assist numbers?
Yeah, he just played without mistakes, and I thought he played so much harder and ran the floor so much harder than he did in our exhibition game. In our inter squad scrimmage the week before. I thought Julian played really well with the minutes that he had. Just a lot of positives from a lot of our guys. Big guys were running the floor offensively. That led to easy baskets. Big guys going the offensive board led to easy baskets. And we recognize that we played a team that won't rival our conference opponents, but they're capable of helping us get better, and I think that we did get better.
Coach, could you just comment on Hooper tonight? I know last year he always talked about.
Well, Hooper's body's better. He's gained 20 pounds. He's up to 240 pounds now. He's always been a guy that could make shots. The issue has always been defending and rebounding. And that's where we'll pay our attention with him when we go in here and watch this film beginning this week. Are we growing in that area, Hooper? Are we getting better? Because you're 5 inches taller than everybody you're playing against tonight. And we got to continue to get better. But he could have gone out there and not played well too in that game, and he did play well. And he passed the ball well, and he went to the offensive board and got a couple of easy ones there. He ran the floor and got a couple of easy baskets. And like I said, he benefited from, I thought, guard play, which led to open looks and dump offs, and I think he's, this game hopefully will help him confidence-wise.
You said, is that the tempo that you're wanting, or is that more of a product of the transition there with Caleb?
Well, we always have tried to play fast in terms of sprinting it to the offensive end of the floor. We always want to do that. Sometimes your opponent will not allow you to play as freely. And we had an opportunity to play freely based on what we were given. We've never had a rule that we're going to pass it 7 times before we get a shot up. Things opened up fairly quickly for us.
The lineup started to vary at the end of the game, but is the starting 5 what we'll see Friday, or?
Oh, no. We decided we're going to go play our older guys, and we're going to bring our younger guys off the bench. We're going to try to play everybody equal minutes. No idea about lineups right now. Washington State will dictate some of that. Who are they? Who are they playing? What our matchups are going to be? But we feel comfortable that we've grown in terms of our depth. And we're not going to make that a big topic all year long in terms of who's starting, not starting, because I think these young guys need to know that, who's playing late in tight games is probably a much bigger subject. And, youth buys into the media's stance on who your starters are, because sometimes they feel like that's your 5 best players. But oftentimes that's dictated by matchups, who we're playing against, because we're always going to have an emphasis on the defensive end.
Were there enough matches to kind of judge the interior defense that you talked about improving without the scrimmage? Did you get a good look at that?
I tell you what this helped us with in terms of matchups, and it's going to be a concern of ours, and it's part of what I like about our team. We played against not a prototypical team, but maybe a prototypical team for college basketball, in that more and more people are playing with 4 perimeter players and 1 big guy. And we like the option of being able to play big with Cedric Lang and Hooper or Matt Wilm, having 2 big guys out there at times. And so who do they guard? And that's, is that an issue? Do you have to go zone because you have 2 big guys out there? Do you have to go play some zone, which we don't want to play? So from that standpoint, it helped us. We were playing against smaller, big guys. And Cedric and Matt Wilm and Hooper all had to get out on the floor and go guard smaller guys, which is always a problem for big guys. They can take it by them. They can, stretch them out to where they're not accustomed to going to guard and knock down 3. So from that standpoint, it will help us for those guys to look at film. And we saw some issues in that area.
Talk about the patience that younger group showed when they went zone, and you guys seemed to be able to work it in there. I think Terry had a nice pass in there to Williams. Talk about that patience from the young guys. Yeah, I thought they,
first of all, they played hard, and that's generally what you're fighting from young players. They don't understand how hard they have to play and for how long they have to play hard. And then the third area that you run into with younger players is turnovers. They don't value the ball, and they spit it, throw it away, and they just weren't getting pulled out at the high school level for making a turnover. And so those were the things that I thought were very positive. That's why I thought our young kids played well, because they didn't turn over and they played hard. And like you said, used pretty good poise.
Jake going to take a red shirt as well?
Yes, Jake is going to red shirt. We didn't play Tevin Caldwell because we're going to make a decision this week about Tevin redshirting, and all these guys should view that as a great compliment that we want to redshirt them, because the guys can't play. You want to just move them on through the system and bring in the next crop. Just get them moving, get them out. And in the case of Jake and Trey, we think they're going to be very good college players, and like the guys at BYU, will benefit from being a year older and playing by the time they're seniors and juniors. They're both really high academic kids, and both like the opportunity working on their master's degree that 5th year. Tevin Caldwell is a guy that we didn't want to jeopardize his last year of eligibility by playing him in this game, because we also feel like he can really help us. In light of losing Julian Washburn a year from now, we like the idea of having him around here, because he does a lot of things that Julian can do. Can really guard. He's got great speed and quickness, and has a knack for doing things on both boards, offensive and defensive boards. But if we don't redshirt him, it'll just be because we don't think that we can do without him this year. that's why it was so important for Terry Wynn to get minutes out there today to see if we could live with Terry, you know, in situations that we know Tevin can play in. Right now, I think Terry would be first to admit that Tevin's probably ahead of him. But I'm always thinking long-term with what we're doing, and Tevin is a guy that we think can help us down the road. So we're going to really scratch our heads on that one this week and decide what's best for our program and what's best for Tevin. All right?
Locker room's open, guys.
All right, thank you. Okay.